Thomas.
Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Angela Marshall, the Director of Transitional and Adult Reentry Services at the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And I also serve as the Interim Director of Workforce, Education, and Training. On behalf of the board, staff, guild, young professionals, and our clients at the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to our 2018 annual meeting and stakeholders luncheon. For 98 years, the League has focused on empowering the communities we serve and improving the lives of the residents in those communities. We have evolved from generation to generation, tailoring our programs to meet our communities in education, workforce, development, housing, entrepreneurship, advocacy, community health initiatives, financial literacy, youth development, and criminal justice reform. We could not have had such an impact and strong reputation over all these years without the incredible partnerships we have with corporate, community, government, foundations, and our auxiliaries, the young professionals and the guild, as our supporters. We truly value all of you and hope that today's presentation will allow you to take a deep pride in the contributions that you made to our region through your support of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Again, welcome to our annual meeting and stakeholders luncheon. Now please join me in welcoming our board chair, Juliet Hall, to preside over today's meetings.
Thank you, Angela, and good afternoon to each of you. I bring you greetings again. I'm Juliet Hall. I'm the board chair of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and it is my sincere pleasure to see a full house here and to welcome each of you to our 98th annual meeting. As an agency, we appreciate each of you for your partnership, support, collaboration, and engagement, but most of all, for allowing us this opportunity to share our work and our accomplishments and plans for the 2018-2019 year. We hold each of you in the highest regard and are accountable to you, our stakeholders, and the communities we serve. I also want to thank the annual meeting planning committee members and our Urban League staff for their diligent work to ensure that today's meeting is successful. However, we could not do this without the engagement of our corporate sponsors. These partnerships are very important to the League's work because without our stakeholders' support, we cannot fulfill our mission. So we thank all of you for your support throughout the year, and today we are especially proud of our partnership with Cox Enterprises, the sponsor of this annual meeting and stakeholders luncheon. And at this time, I would like to invite our sponsor, our corporate sponsor representing Cox Media, Tony Kidd, who is also a board member, and he is the Vice President of Programming for Cox Media Group. And at this time, I'll welcome Tony to the stage to offer remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Tony Kidd. I am Vice President of Programming for Cox Media Group Atlanta Radio. And on behalf of the company, I'm delighted to be with all of you today. While Cox Enterprises has more than 60,000 employees around the world, we are really proud to call Atlanta home. Governor Cox started the company back in Dayton, Ohio over 100 years ago with one newspaper, the Dayton Daily News. Today, Cox is still a privately held, family-owned company with businesses in communication, media, and the automotive services industry. Our brands include media properties here in Atlanta, such as Channel 2, WSB, KISS 104.1, 98.5, B98.5, The River, WSRV, News Talk, WSB, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now, as well as those local brands and additional national brands are broadband company Cox Communications and automotive services like Manheim, Auto Trader, and Kelley Blue Book. For more than 100 years, Cox has been guided by a very simple belief and principle. In fact, this particular saying hangs on the wall at 1601 West Peachtree Street, where I work, by Governor Cox. Do the right thing for our employees, our customers, and our communities. Cox operates on values that put people first, and diversity and inclusion are at the very core of these values. When Nancy and the Urban League of Greater Atlanta came to us with the opportunity to serve as presenting sponsor for the Stakeholders Luncheon this year, we were honored and extremely proud to do that. Like the Urban League, Cox is focused on empowering underserved urban communities to secure economic self-reliance and civil rights. We also are committed to building a workforce that reflects the communities we serve and fostering environments that build unique talents from the variety of people and perspectives. That's a core belief for our company. Cox has been a longtime partner of both the Urban League of Greater Atlanta and the National Urban League. We offer national support through public service announcements, employee volunteerism, and in select Cox markets, the National Urban League, we work with local empowerment programs and that include affordable housing, job skills training, and youth development. Now, as our hometown chapter, the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, we're especially proud and especially thankful to be a part of. In addition to, I'm sorry, I'm dealing with everything that everybody has here, which is Atlanta Holland. It's really jacking me up when I'm doing like this. In addition, we support workforce programs like the Path to Empowerment, as many of you know. That empowers individuals and families with education, career readiness tools, and resource developments so that folks can move up the economic ladder. It's a priority for Cox, and it's a priority for our community. Now, we celebrate another great year of work with you, and we are proud as Cox Enterprises to support the work of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, so much, and for the generous support of Cox Media Group. And at this time, I want to introduce one of my favorite people with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. We have different auxiliaries with the Urban League, one of them being the young professionals of the Urban League. And I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to participate in any event with the Urban League Young Professionals, but they are always dynamic, so much fun, lots of energy, and very inspiring. I like to see that our youth are engaged in the movement. And so with that, I would like to introduce to the stage now to introduce our minister to provide the invocation, the president of the Urban League Young Professionals Group, someone that I just truly respect and admire, Shalondon Hollingshead.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as mentioned, my name is Shalondon Hollingshead, and I do serve as the president of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals. And today I am here to actually introduce Reverend Antley Motley to each of you. Reverend Antley Motley follows a strong family line of ministers, including his father, the late Dr. D.L. Motley, Sr., the renowned and respected pastor emeritus of the Peace Baptist Church in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today, Reverend Motley is the renowned pastor of the Lindsay Street Baptist Church. He started college at Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, with a major in philosophy, then transferred his credits to Morehouse College, where he graduated with a master's in religion and a minor in philosophy. He received his Master's of Arts degree in Christian education from Interdenominational Theological Center. Reverend Motley served at Mount Sinai Baptist Church in Tallapoosa, Georgia, Wares Grove Baptist Church in Cedartown, Georgia, and Flat Rock Baptist Church in Rome, Georgia, before accepting his current position as pastor at the Lindsay Street Baptist Church on September 7, 1980. Pastor Motley is deeply involved in community activities seeking to improve conditions of the socially and economically oppressed and the spiritually impoverished. Under his visionary leadership, Lindsay Street Baptist Church completed a major building which seats more than 1,000 worshipers. Pastor Mosley is active as a leader with many organizations, including Concerned Black Clergy, the New Era State Convention of Georgia, the Progressive National Baptist Convention, the American Baptist Convention, the Atlanta Baptist Ministers Union, Vine City Housing Ministry, and the English Avenue Community Development Corporation. He is a much sought after speaker and lecturer. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Anthony Mosley.
The president said that you know my real name. Motley is close enough. It's Motley. Yeah, it's Motley. Prayer will be shorter than the introduction. As we bow, please. Father in heaven, we give you thanks for this incredible organization, this historic Urban League organization, dynamic President Johnson, all of the officers and all of the administrators. We give you thanks. We thank you for the historic role the Urban League has played in bringing corporate America and the business community together to make more job opportunities and job training opportunities and so many other things available to the poor and minority communities. We thank you, Lord, and we ask that you would continue to bless the Urban League with the necessary resources, financial, human, educational, all that they need to effectively carry out their very noble and necessary mission of empowering people from every sector of society to realize their God-given potential, to be all that our Creator made us to be. Bless them to continue in their role of reminding those who have of their responsibility to those who have not. To remind us all of the divine mandate that we must love all our neighbors of every race, of every religion and region as we love ourselves. To continue to work for the establishment of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. referred to as the beloved community, which is what Jesus called the coming of God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Then, Lord, bless the food to nourish our bodies for the living of these days. This is our prayer. In the name of Jesus and all the great prophets of all the great religions and religious traditions of all times. And for his sake and their sake we pray. Let us all say,
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Now lunch is about to be served. We're going to do this in a very expedient fashion. Our hosts and hostesses will be excusing each table at a time, but what we ask is that you return back to your table immediately so that we can continue with our program. Thank you.
charming and funny, and it's like I'm a lawyer. I'm neither of those things. So, but they did give me lots of notes. Fortunately, I won't go through all of those. But the mayor has a lot of accomplishments to talk about. So, one of 382 people to run for mayor this year, so I think that says a lot about our mayor. She has more perseverance and energy than probably anybody else in this room. And as I've sat back and observed her first few months in office, I've been just amazed at the energy and dedication that she has shown towards the city. We're extraordinarily fortunate to have someone that has that kind of dedication and interest in helping our city move along and become a better place. And so I was curious as to how she had so much energy, because I thought I had some energy, but then I looked at the bottom of these notes they gave me, and I see that she's been married for a little while, and she has 4 children and a dog. So I was like, well, she's not used to having any sleep. So the mayor is a native. She graduated from Frederick Douglass High School, went on to Florida A&M, and then made the misguided decision to become a lawyer like some of the rest of us, and graduated from Georgia State, and practices a lawyer and a judge and a number of other things before running for city council, which she won her race and served as our city council person from, I probably have the district here, and I apologize, Mayor, I can't find it that quickly amongst all my notes. But she served for 11, thank you very much. She served on city council for about 8 years, and during that time, you may recall, the city, when the mayor first became a council person, we had some issues with some unfunded pension liabilities and some other real challenges to our city, and she, along with her colleagues on the city council, helped sort of get our finances in order and recover the budget and get balanced budgets done and be able to pay off that, get that pension liability much more current than it historically had been. So they also tell me that she is a member of the Atlanta chapter of Jack and Jill, and the Dogwood chapter of the Lynx, and the Atlanta alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. She is on a number of boards, including the boards of Families First, and as you know, she also served as the executive director of the Atlanta County Authority, which is the group that has jurisdiction over the Phillips Arena and Turner Field and the zoo. And she oversaw the sale and redevelopment of Turner Field. That was like a $350 million project. That prepped her for becoming mayor with multi-billion-dollar budget. And she successfully worked through those issues as helping the city deal with how to address the challenges with those various venues, and successfully worked through those things. So since she's been mayor, I think you've probably seen and read a lot about her various initiatives. She's got a lot of initiatives going about education, about equity, about things that the Urban League, of course, is very involved in, that we are all very excited about her energy and dedication to those issues. So since she's got a very limited window, I'll stop talking and get her up here. So it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the mayor of our city, the Honorable Keisha Lance Bottom.
Good afternoon. I'm loving that you all are keeping the street going where people stand up before I speak. Fantastic. I'm in Power Glide and I'm on Jeopardy last night. So as I like to tease my husband, who is here today, which is a miracle, I remind him, I'm the mayor of Wakanda. So he tells me, yeah, and when you pull into the garage, this here is a sovereign nation. Leave all that outside. But I'm so impressed that he's here with me 2 weeks in a row at speaking engagements. Can't really count last week because I was leaving the emergency room, but he told me today he's not here to see me, he's here with Home Depot, so. And you all probably see him doing this soon because we have a 1:30 choral concert, so he'll give me the evil eye or he'll just leave without me. But thank you, Nancy, and to the entire board, and I saw Joyce Shepherd, my seatmate from City Council here. Where are you? There you are, Joyce. And also Chief Lavat and so many others from the City of Atlanta family. Please raise your hand. You're in here. Brandon, we're going to count you in that number too. Brandon is our interim head over at the Housing Authority. But it is a pleasure to be here, and I'm so very grateful to Nancy Blake Johnson for all of the support that she not only gave to my campaign, but really has given to the City of Atlanta. When I was running for mayor, we had a lot of conversations about what was important to our city. And it's interesting when you are preparing as a candidate, there are things that come top of mind that you think people care about, but it is when you get into the heat of the campaign and you really start to talk to people that you begin to see what really is important to our communities. And what was very clear very quickly is that so many of the issues that the Urban League focuses on in Greater Atlanta really is what our communities are talking about. Over the course of the campaign, I talked a lot about my story and my history in this city. And you know, when you are in the middle of a campaign, you develop a stump speech. And I talked about it so much, my mother said to me one day, I think there's some other stories you can tell too. But part of what I shared is that there were so many people who really stood in the gap for me as a child and made it possible for me to be the mayor of the city. And in standing in the gap for me, they were also standing in the gap for my parents. And when I think of the great work that you all do through your work with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, it really is about standing in the gap for our communities. One of the things that I charged my team with very early on was to help me hone in on what my vision is for the City of Atlanta. There was a lot of talk with the 382 candidates who ran for mayor. And what I quickly realized is that we had done so much talking that it really was incredibly difficult for me to summarize and to articulate to not just my team but to the city what my vision is for the city and where I would like to see us go as a city. And so I'm very pleased that we have come up with a vision statement that hopefully captures what I see as the needed work that needs to be done over the next 4 years and really aligns with the work that you all are already doing. And it reads, and I will memorize this succinctly, but right now I will read it to make sure I don't miss anything. My vision for Atlanta is one Atlanta, an affordable, resilient, and equitable Atlanta, a safe and welcoming city, a city with world-class employees, infrastructure, and services, an ethical, transparent, and fiscally responsible government, thriving neighborhoods, communities and businesses, and residents who are equipped for success. And as I look at what you all have on the stage here, I think it really speaks to the work that you are already doing, and I'm so very excited about not just the partnerships that we have already had, but those that are yet to come. But I will mention just a few. There's been so much conversation in the city surrounding so many other things to the WSB table that's really taken up a lot of bandwidth from the City of Atlanta. Conversations that we you know, obviously are necessary, but a lot of the very important work that we are doing sometimes gets lost in the chatter. So I just want to remind you all of a few things that we've done in my few short months in office that my administration has been able to accomplish along with the leadership of the Atlanta City Council. You all were there for the announcement when we announced the job reentry program. In large part, thank you, Chief Labatt, for your work on this, and also to Keisha Powell, our watershed commissioner, where we worked alongside the Urban League Georgia Department of Corrections to make sure that there are men who are now being trained to enter into the workforce of the city of Atlanta as they are transitioning as inmates in our city facility, that they are receiving meaningful job training. And what does that mean? It means that when these men leave our prison system, they will have a job with benefits, with a retirement, and they will also be able to provide for their families. So when we talk about and the applause is really due to the Urban League just for the vision and collaboration of this partnership. But this is the work that matters. This is the work that will survive the headlines. This is the work that literally will change families and change generations. One of the other things, again, thank you, Nancy, for your work on our progressive committee, as we talked about cash bail bonds in the city of Atlanta. And the issue that we have with people remaining incarcerated in our city simply because they can't afford to pay to leave jail. So very quickly, we were, and I see Melissa Molinax in the back. Melissa was incredibly helpful in helping shepherd this legislation through our city council with the support of Councilmember Shepherd. Now, in the city of Atlanta, you no longer stay in jail simply because you can't afford to pay. And this is so significant because what we are now seeing is that Fulton County is also following suit, and there are conversations at the state level about criminal justice reform, very meaningful conversations. I'm very proud to say the city of Atlanta really has led the way and given the example as to how this can be done. And then lastly, we talk a lot about affordability in the city of Atlanta and what it means for people, some of whom may be school teachers or may be police officers or may be the people who are serving us here today or cleaning the restrooms up after we leave. What it means to be a part of the prosperity that we see in the city of Atlanta. Before coming here today, Melissa and I were in a very important meeting with some developers talking about affordable housing in the city and stressing how important it is that we have permanent affordable housing in this city. And so that when people in our communities who have stuck with Atlanta have an opportunity to actually experience all the good things that are happening in this city, it's our responsibility as a city to make sure that this is a reality. We are already making progress in that we have rolled out some home improvement programs. We are also giving grants away to help with revitalization in certain communities, but there's still so much more work to be done. And so what I would just say to you today, don't be afraid to dream big for our city. Don't be afraid to continue to bring to our attention things that we need to do as a city to make sure that this is a city for all. Your leadership and your voice is so incredibly important. Sometimes in the busyness of running a city like the city of Atlanta, we sometimes are so busy we don't slow down to think about the details. It's when we look to leadership from the Urban League and so many other organizations that we look to you to not only plant these seeds, but also tell us what your vision is as to how we can get it done. It's possible. We've seen it happen with cash bail reform in the city of Atlanta. We've seen it happen with our prison reentry program, and I know that there are probably 10 other things that you all are already discussing that we can make a reality. I'm grateful to be your mayor, and I'm also grateful to be on the pathway to making Atlanta truly one Atlanta, truly an Atlanta for us all. Thank you, and God bless you all.
So, Madam Mayor, it is our distinct pleasure to present a small token of our partnership and our appreciation for your leadership and where we're going to take Atlanta in the future. Urban League is going to be a strong partner for the city, continue to be, and we support it. Thank you so much. And one more thing. You're an honorary urban leaguer now. Thank you. Thank you. To your son.
I see my husband's leaving me.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our mayor, Keisha Lance Lyons. Thank you so much for making time for your So it is our distinct pleasure at this time to share with you a visual of how the Urban League and the City of Atlanta have been partnering over the past year, and a sneak peek at some of the work we'll be doing in 2018-19 and going forward. So, are we queued up? All right, so I just want to drop
Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
Urban League of Greater Atlanta, Partner of the Year, the City of Atlanta. Urban League of Greater Atlanta, an irrepressible advocate for the community, improves the lives of the dispossessed and disenfranchised. This year, Urban League of Greater Atlanta recognizes the unyielding dedication of the City of Atlanta, who has enabled ULGA to accomplish its community mission through various program funding and facilitating the Urban League of Greater Atlanta's Empowerment Center, located at 72 Marietta Street, the City of Atlanta's Department of Watershed Management headquarters. Through the continued partnerships fostered with and through the City of Atlanta, Urban League of Greater Atlanta has expanded its outreach into groundbreaking territory. The Atlanta City Watershed Management and Atlanta City Department of Corrections partnership.
In the state of Georgia, we rank #1 for business, but we rank among the highest for poverty and incarceration. So our partnership with the City of Atlanta, Department of Corrections, and Watershed Management is very important to lifting and giving people the opportunity for a second chance at financial and economic empowerment.
We've been engaged in a national conversation about the water workforce. Over 55% of our employees are eligible for retirement right now, and this partnership is allowing us to tap into resources that we wouldn't otherwise have access to.
While we were in the embryonic stages of developing our reentry program, the one thing we needed was a train to work program. And so we were introduced through the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, a program that they've already conducted and started with the State Department of Corrections.
Through the partnership, Urban League provides the soft skills. Pre-release, we teach inmates all of the fundamental skills to return to the workplace. Watershed management teaches the technical skills. how to become certified utility and infrastructure technicians.
They're starting out making more than $30,000 as watershed trainees, and that salary is being held for them until they are actually released.
Instead of leaving the state prison system with $25 in a bus ticket, you leave with $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in bank. More importantly, you leave with a sense of dignity, a sense of pride.
But this is really the start of a career track for them. From there, the possibilities in the department are many.
Mayor Bottom said that our hope is to have individuals retire with the city, leaving a successful program like this.
We'll be talking about this program at a national convening of the Environmental Protection Agency. Some of my colleagues from across the country have reached out to us to understand how we put this program together so that they can model it in their cities. We're seen as not just a water utility, now we're seen as an anchor institution.
The Atlanta City Council partnership.
In Atlanta, we have the booming film industry as one of the pathways to prosperity. Yet, very few City of Atlanta residents, both experienced and new to the opportunity, are plugging in to benefit from the wealth that this industry is bringing to our city and our state. We're partnering with Atlanta City Council, Councilmember Joyce Shepard, Invest Atlanta, Tyler Perry Studios, the Georgia Film Academy, and WorkSource Atlanta to all work together to educate our community to the opportunities and open doors for training and work.
Tyler Perry Studios, I'm honored to say, has actually moved into my district at a base, Fort McPherson base. Mr. Perry, as a part of that MOU, committed to work with the Urban League, Georgia Film Academy, and WorkSource Atlanta to bring jobs to the south side of Atlanta.
Through our partnership with Urban League Greater Atlanta, we support their efforts in serving as a community resource partner, as well as the focus with outreach to our residents that surround the Tyler Perry Studios.
This film industry offers a variety of opportunities, and through our partnership, we are connecting city residents with professionals in the industry who can tell them how to break in and open those doors.
Tyler Perry Studios and Urban League work together with one goal, and that goal is hiring candidates for long-term, sustainable employment.
We want to get people trained behind the scenes, with jobs, lighting, cosmetics, through the whole 9 yards.
Working with Councilmember Shepard has been extremely impactful and powerful. She has a passion for ensuring that this industry is connected to the people that she serves. In addition, our partnership with Tyler Perry Studios has given us open access to professionals in all aspects of the business. WorkSource Atlanta provides the access to the training, and the Georgia Film Academy offers credentialed training throughout the metro area to teach people how to be their best in the industry.
The City of Atlanta, in partnership with Urban League of Greater Atlanta, are getting a huge amount of work done in the City of Atlanta. Thank you all so much for what y'all do.
Tyler Perry Studios is proud to partner with Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and we look forward to working together in the future.
The Atlanta Police Foundation partnership.
Our work with the Atlanta Police Foundation helps us focus on one of the most vulnerable segments in our community, out-of-school older youth. These young people will be the next generation of parents, and so it's vitally important that we connect with them and support them to achieve their highest human potential. Many of these young people have had brushes with the law. Some have dropped out of school. Many are unemployed and underemployed. But through the At Promise Center, we give them a second chance to thrive and connect with their pathways for success.
Here at the At Promise Center, we provide 3 types of services for you. We provide diversion services, intervention services, and preventive services, all for youth of the west side of Atlanta, age 12 through 24. The Urban League of Greater Atlanta has been a critical partner to the success of servicing the youth on the west side. Since opening in August, we have been able to service 331 youth. Our original goal was 150 youth. Because Because of our collaborative services, we have really been able to pinpoint what the youth's needs are within the community and really help service them.
Urban League's Urban Youth Empowerment Program supports these youth to earn GED credentials as well as high-demand occupational training skills. We also support them to secure employment and all of the supportive services that will ensure their success for the long term.
We must continue on this success of that promise, and we must change the trajectory of our youth as well as make a generational impact on the youth of the city. And with Urban League's help, we can do that.
The Atlanta Housing Partnership.
Our work with the Atlanta Housing Authority has spanned several years to empower youth and adults to re-enter the workplace. Our current initiative will focus on the University Choice neighborhood on the west side of Atlanta and target individuals and give them the opportunity to connect with career pathways, financial empowerment and coaching, and help them plug into their passion, purpose, and livable wages and beyond.
The $30 million grant from HUD has a three-pronged approach. The redevelopment of the former public housing project, as well as the neighborhoods around it, and it also focuses on people, workforce, health, and education. The partnership between the Urban League and Atlanta Housing is critical to the success of Choice. That's because the Urban League is our workforce league, and that simply means that they are providing the workforce training and development to our Choice residents.
Our current work with the Atlanta Housing Authority will allow us to deploy our new financial empowerment model that works 360 to support youth, adults, and families to empower themselves through careers and employment, entrepreneurship, and financial education and planning.
We thought the average age of the people we were going to be helping would be around 20, 23 years old. And as they started coming into training, we realized that the average age was 35 to 37. And so what that says is that you had people who had given up on ever finding gainful employment, maybe because they had something on their criminal record, maybe because they just did not see a path to a sustainable wage. The only thing that was being offered to them was a $7.25 job, minimum wage, and that wasn't enough to support their family. It was easier for them to be on the streets. Once we put them in a training that actually gave them $15, $17, $18 an hour, once we realized that that was something that was working and we were able to build on that, we've made some huge inroads in these three communities that have been impoverished for a long period of time.
The Urban League of Greater Atlanta empowers communities and changes lives. And we do this work through collective, collaborative partnerships in the public and private sector. The times that we're in require us to do more. And that is the vision for 2020 for the Urban League. We need our prospering stakeholders like you to partner with us in a bigger way so we can empower more people and change lives. The Urban League of Greater Atlanta takes this opportunity to thank the City of Atlanta and all of our stakeholders in the public and private sector that help us empower communities and change lives every day.
Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Empowering communities and changing lives.
give this video and the work. As you can see from the video, there's a lot of work to be done, and I like what our mayor had to say about standing in the gap and how the Urban League of Greater Atlanta is standing in the gap for those communities and individuals and families who don't have a way, and they need a way out of no way. And we're so grateful, I can tell you as the chair of the board of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, to be able to serve with Nancy, who is a phenomenal president and CEO, and I want to give her a round of applause. If you've had a chance to work with Nancy, or just if you just even stood close to her, you can feel her passion, her dedication, her love for the community, and how she is so committed to helping people get to a level of economic equality. She breathes it, she lives it day in and day out, and so her vision is just a great vision, and it's an honor to be able to serve alongside her. So the video really shows all the work that the Urban League of Greater Atlanta is doing, and of course you will hear from Nancy a little bit later on so that she can go over her report in more detail. But before we get to that, we want to take an opportunity to recognize the men and the women behind the scenes who serve on our boards, who serve on staff with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And this is the part of the program where we want to present service pins to them in recognizing the time that they have given to the Urban League. The Urban League movement has a long and sustained history of attracting the best and the brightest, the most decent and the most dedicated citizen volunteers and professional staff members in the many communities served by local affiliates of this national organization. The profile of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta's volunteer board members and professional staff members serves as a benchmark for excellence, competence, and selfless service to the mission of helping others. And each year, we acknowledge and honor individuals whose longevity with the League can be documented, but whose service to the League is immeasurable. For being the kind of special persons needed to keep the Urban League of Greater Atlanta constantly moving ahead, it is my pleasure to present the Urban League Service Pin as a small token of appreciation to the following individuals. And if you're here, please come forward and receive your pin and stand on stage. Recognizing 5 years of service to the following members: former president of Georgia Piedmont Technical College and board member Dr. Jabari Samama. Okay, all right. Well, we thank him in his absence. Carl Timms, who's the assistant vice president of claims for Geico Insurance. Okay. Carl is not here either, but we recognize him and thank him. I know that this individual is here, Mark Cara, who is the director of our Entrepreneurship Center. Okay, and as Mark comes up, thank you so much. All right, and Senior Manager of Youth Empowerment and Partnerships, Shanitha Murthy Vaughn. Our Program Manager of Youth Services for Project Ready, Joy Turner. Our Certified Foreclosure and Intervention Counselor of Housing, Wealth Building, and Community Development, Tony Jean Lewis. Our Workforce Specialist, Workforce Education and Training, Rashid Brown. Our Director, Housing, Wealth Building, and Community Development, Jeanette Brown. Annette Sullivan. Senior Director for Youth Empowerment and Partnerships, Tracy Mosley. And we also have one individual who has served for 15 years, and she will receive a 15-year pin. She is with the Computer Training Instructor and Program Assistant Workforce Education and Training, Ms. Stacy Chapman. Stacy, are you here? She's working. She's working. All right. Okay. Congratulations, and we hope that you will wear your pin with pride, and let's take some pictures. Oh, Stacy, hurry, come on up. 15 years later.
All right, here we go. I'm sorry. Can I do one thing? I'm sorry.
Hurry.
Yes, ma'am. I'm good.
Thanks so much. And at this time, Nancy is going to come back to the stage, and she's going to recognize the staff, the Urban League Young Professionals, and the Guild.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. So the Urban League of Greater Atlanta just can't do its work and make the impact without the people behind the scenes. And our team works tirelessly, literally, round the clock, just work as the team members every day. And we're just so thankful and appreciative. I am proud to say that the Urban League of Greater Atlanta works diligently. We do our best to get the job done. And I just want to say on behalf of our board of directors, our executive leadership, thank you to our board, to our staff, to our volunteers, our funders like you, and all of our supporters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do want to take this privilege to also carry forward a tradition we started 2 years ago. And for all of the great work that every single person does in our agency, there are people in every organization that just do a little bit more and stand out as people who are committed to the work. So very quickly, I would like each of these individuals to come forward. Tony Jean-Louis, our outstanding foreclosure counselor. I'd like to invite Ebony White, who is our senior empowerment advocate at the Alabama Center. Where's Ebony? Here she comes. We've got Angela Marshall, who you met earlier, Director of Transitional Services.
That's good.
Thank you for the work right away. Joy Turner, who's our Project Ready Program Manager. Shanika Coer is not here, but she is one of our empowerment advocates who transitioned from being a program assistant. Annette Sullivan, I don't know if Annette's in the house, but she is our CFO. And actually we had gone our separate ways with Annette. We were moving in a new direction, and things didn't work out with our new person. I called her up, she came back. Yay! Thank you. And she is the bomb. Let me just tell you. John in the room. John is our go-to man. He's a career and employment specialist, but he also doubles and really brought to our work, really getting more connected and involved with our elected officials and our work at the state capitol, as well as with our congressional leadership. So John, you're the man. Thank you so much. All right. So thank you all. Oh, we take a quick picture, quick.
One more this way. 3, 2, and 3. 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. We also have a committed and dedicated group of board members. And you all know, for any nonprofit organization, the success is really rooted in your board. And we have a working board. And so I want to ask all of the Urban League's board members who are here today to please stand and be recognized, and please give them a warm, warm round of applause. Thank you all so much. Tasula. Thank you so much. And they're present, and that's awesome. The agency also has 2 very hard-working auxiliaries, and you've met earlier the president of the Young Professionals, but we also have a very hard-working guild, which it pretty much draws the lines in the age thing, 40 and under are the young professionals, and the more mature group is the guild. But I'd like all of our guilders and YPs to stand up and be recognized for all of your great work. Please stand. I know you're out there. Thank you. They raise funds, they support our programs, they socialize too, but they get the work done. And thank you all. Gotta have some fun, right? Young professionals. So with that, I would like to now bring forward Leah Tennille, who is our vice chair.
I'm the vice chair of the board of directors. At this time, I would like to recognize those board members that will be rotating from the board because they have reached their 5-year term limit, those who will not be renewing their terms, and those who have resigned. Several board members who will be exiting the board cannot be here today with us due to prior commitments. However, I will call their names for all exiting board members. In accordance with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta board rotation policy, we have 2 board members who are rotating from the board effective today after 5 consecutive years of dedicated service to the Urban League movement. Dr. Jabari Samama, who represented DeKalb Piedmont Technical College, and Carl Timms, who represented Geico Insurance Company. 1 board member whose term expired, Roy Robinson, and 2 board members who are resigning due to other commitments. Tiffany Kirk representing Regions Bank, and Kevin Johnson representing Invest Atlanta. We would like to present this token of appreciation for your tenure as a board member, and the token reads, Urban League of Greater Atlanta, in appreciation for your outstanding and dedicated service. And I'm not sure if any of them are here. But we do thank them, and it's our honor to present the tokens to them when we see them next. And thank them for contributing their time, talent, and treasure to make the League a better organization. Even though they will no longer be serving in an official capacity as a board member, they will always be a member of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta family, and we will always value and appreciate their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah, and thanks to everyone again, the men and women who have served. And at this time, we want to now bring to the podium the chair of our board development committee to recognize the incoming board members for the 2018-2019 year, Ms. Tasula Stewart.
As fast as I can. I am Tasula Stewart Miller. I'm Senior Vice President for Fidelity Bank. And our motto is, it is the #1 community bank with the best customer service in town. And today, I'm giving the Urban League a new motto. That is the #1 organization empowering communities and changing lives. Committee, Board of Directors, and the ULG staff for their assistance in the board development activities. The committee will continue the process of identifying new candidates for board membership. I will now announce the board results for 2018 to 2019. With the rotation rule prescribed in our bylaws, we are mandated to re-elect board members to terms of varying lengths of 1 to 3 years. All officers are elected for 1-year terms. Several board members could not be with us today because of prior commitments. For the record, I will read all of the names in each category. The following persons have been elected as officers of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta for 1-year term, expiring May 2019. Please stand as I call your name. Chair, Juliet Hall, she's already standing. Vice Chair, Liz Neal, over there. Secretary, Jeffrey Forrest, Jeffrey. Assistant Secretary, Carl Lester Crumpler. Carl Lester is a Senior Vice President, Specialized Industries, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. Treasurer, Veronica Floyd. I haven't seen Veronica. Are you here? She may not be here today. She's the Director of Finance, United Parcel Service. And Assistant Treasurer, I am Tasula Stewart Miller. Let's give all of our officers a big round. The following persons have been re-elected to the Board of Directors of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta for a 1-year term expiring May 2019. Stacy Cole, Director of Government Affairs, Comcast Cable Communications. Darren George, President, ULGA Guild. Juliet Hall, President, Juliet Hall, Inc. Shalondan Hollenshad, President, ULGA Young Professionals. G. Scott Horsley, Principal, Corbin Kim LLP. B. Mitchell King, Metro East Region Manager, Georgia Power Company. Myra Reeves, Senior Manager, Diversity and Inclusion, The Home Depot. Paul Shore, General Manager, Shalom LLC. Tracy Smith, Vice President, Community and Economic Development Manager, Fifth Third Bank. Leslie Stark, Controller, Georgia Development Partners. Mark Taylor, Partner, Taylor English Law Firm. Felicia Watson, Director, Stakeholder Relations, the Coca-Cola Company. And the following persons have been re-elected to the Board of the Urban League for a 2-year term expiring May 2020. Tony Cade, Vice President, Program, Cox Media Group, Atlanta. Senior Vice President, Fidelity Bank, and Liz Neal, President, Strategic Growth Funding. Strategic Funding Group. And lastly, but not least, the following persons have been re-elected to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term expiring May 2021. Dwayne Griffin, Enterprise Technology Executive Data, State Farm Insurance Company. Jeffrey Forrest, Attorney and Partner, Prevalent and Horse LLC. Larry McHugh, Nascent Angel Investor Ecosystem. Ty Robertson, Vice President, Senior Community Development Officer, West Fargo Bank. Will all of the board members please stand again, and let's give all of our board members. Development Committee. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so much. So all of the board members, if you will come forward quickly, you will be sworn in for your service by, we've got Judge Thelma Moore Cummings. Is it Cummings? Okay, sorry. Thank you. She does such an awesome job.
It is always, thank you. It is always such a pleasure to join this annual meeting of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And I must say, Madam CEO, Madam Chair, all of the officers, you are truly empowering people and changing lives. And what a dynamic thrust as you inspire all of us to do more and to participate more with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Thank you so much for all you're doing, not just for the people you serve in the programs, but for the entire community, which benefits from what you are accomplishing. Well, the Urban League movement has great potential, and it has proven itself in advancing human welfare. It offers an effective program for the practice of democracy and for the development of good citizenship. The League devotes its resources and volunteers to promoting the well-being of the Atlanta community. Therefore, the installation of elected officers, new board members, and re-elected board members of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta is deeply significant. In grateful recognition of your willingness to serve, we greet you as new officers, new board members, and re-elected board members. And I would like to cite for you the purposes of the Urban League from its charter that has guided its work for some 98 years. And I have been a part of the Urban League for 51 years. The purposes are to encourage, assist, and engage in activities which lead toward the improvement of opportunities for underprivileged persons and families in metropolitan Atlanta. To discover unmet community needs in education, employment, housing, health, and welfare, and to develop programs to meet those needs. And I'd say you're really doing that. To promote interracial understanding and cooperation. Elected officers, new board members, and re-elected board members, if you will please respond with the words, "I will," to the following. Will you work toward the fulfillment of the League's purposes? I will. Will you work within the framework of the Constitution and bylaws of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta? I will. As officers, new board members, and re-elected board members of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, you hold responsible positions. The duties and opportunities will challenge you. I think you're up to that challenge. I acknowledge your intention to serve faithfully to the best of your abilities, and it is my sincere honor and pleasure to congratulate you and to declare you duly installed as officers, board members of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Congratulations.
All right, go ahead. Which way are you going? To the start.
Just make sure you can see the photographer.
May I? Thank you. This man. Yeah. I'll try to mark.
Congratulations again to all of the officers and to the board members. And please, at this time, we are going to transition because we would not have a complete meeting if we didn't hear from our own president and CEO. Nancy Blake Johnson, thank you.
Thank you all. This will be the shortest president's report I've ever given, but I really feel sincerely, number one, we want to be respectful of your time, but we also, I also believe the video gave you so much about the work that we're doing. But I do want to take just a moment and share a couple of things with you that you did not see in the video. In this past year, we have expanded our partnership with DeKalb County. We began a micro-enterprise program there, and we're super excited about the fact that that partnership has now grown to include a contract for 2 years to serve 250 out-of-school youth who live in DeKalb County. And I just really want to thank, and is Teresa Austin Gibbons, please stand. She is the new Executive Director of Workforce Development, and we're happy to have her. I look forward to expanding our work there. We'll have a satellite office in partnership with the Salvation Army in Decatur. The League also launched our Bank Works Occupational Skills Training Program. This is extremely exciting. The Biller Foundation selected the Urban League, and we partnered with financial institutions in the region to offer an occupational training program that tracks people into the financial services industry. So Bank Works is just launched and completed its first cohort, and I want to say particular thanks to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citizens Trust Bank, and the Biller Foundation, and others for your support of the program, and we look to expand that in the future. Our Entrepreneurship Center is partnering with the Coca-Cola Company and their Minority Supplier Diversity Team. This is very exciting because we're partnering to build the capacity of minority suppliers so that they can do greater and bigger projects with the company and other private sector institutions. Our Project Ready program has expanded. It is now also in DeKalb County, and we've also expanded to Washington High School. The U.S. Department of Labor, is William Mitchell in the house? No, not yet. Okay, he didn't make it, but I want to say a big thank you to the U.S. Department of Labor. They have been one of our most substantial investing partners over the past 8 years, and that partnership continues with the refunding of our Youth Build program, which takes young people who don't have high school diplomas, trains them in the construction trades, and supports them into a career pathway to a livable wage job. Youth Build has been refunded for 40 months at $1.1 million. And I want to mention that the CAB Youth Program is $1.4 million over 2 years. We will be able to give great support with that. Finally, I want to say thank you and tribute to the work of our auxiliaries. The young professionals in the Guild work collaboratively and also do a lot of work separately. But between mentoring our Project Ready youth and providing scholarships, the young professionals do that for us. The Guild hosts an annual West Side Health Fair, which is actually tomorrow, this Saturday. I also want to recognize the golf tournament, which is coming up on September 17th that our Guild supports. And we just want to say thank you for all of their work to register voters, educate voters, and to actually encourage young professionals to run for public office. We need new leadership. And finally, one of the big things we've done this year is Urban League has created what we're calling our vision for 2020. Based on the times that we're in, there's so much opportunity, but technology and this new economy is actually moving faster than our people are able to keep pace. It is changing the dynamics of our cities and our communities. And we know that there will be some unforeseen challenges that are beginning to surface that are really working to make the wedge between the haves and the have-nots even wider and deeper. We are committed to be a bigger and stronger catalyst for equity in this region. We want to be a leader and a partner with all of you to ensure that as technology and our economy grows in new and different ways, we have to be the bridge that connects those opportunities to our people who are most important to us all. Our people represent untapped talent. People are not throwaways. Everyone is important. And the beauty of this philosophy is that as we invest in our people and help them raise their economic standing, every single stakeholder wins. Everyone wins. Quality of life goes up, housing starts to improve, loans are made, people spend, quality of education improves. Isn't that the society where we all can live and work together as one? That is what the Urban League's mission is. But we're the little engine that does. We are stretched in so many ways. And we realized, really several years ago, that the time is now to step back for a moment and do the things that are necessary to lay a solid foundation for us to build our capacity and to scale the work that we do. We want to measurably be able to show, definitively and sustainably, that we can move people forward for the long term. And to do that, as the mayor said, we've got to think big. And we're thinking big. And so in the weeks and months to come, we're going to be reaching out to all of our stakeholders, especially you who have been with us for so many years. But we've got to do more. We've got to think bigger. And we've got some awesome plans and opportunities for us to do that work together. So money, talent, time is required. This is the time where we have to step up for the people that we serve, who are who? They're our families, they're our children, they're our grandchildren, our neighbors, they're our church members. They're the people, the homeless people on the street who deserve a good life. They're people who are incarcerated that can be turned in new directions. They are young people who are going to be the next set of parents who will determine whether poverty is broken, that cycle of poverty is broken. That is the mission of our work, and we will do that together. And finally, I want to share a couple of new things that will expand the work we're doing that we're excited about in the new year. One of those is with WorkSource Atlanta. WorkSource Atlanta has been awarded a grant to a homeless workforce project for the homeless. We are extremely excited about doing some focused work to affect an issue that we are all encounter, whether it's from a law enforcement standpoint or just, people that we know who are struggling to maintain housing and roofs over their heads. We are going to go deep and do some impactful work for the homeless. We also want to expand our micro-enterprise work here in Atlanta, and we look forward to some potential opportunities there. And we are going to be even stronger advocates at the state capitol on a number of fronts, but especially with respect to education equity. Everything starts with education, and we've got to make a stronger place there. So with that, I just want to say thank you. It's an exciting time. We're ready to roll up our sleeves even more and continue our work together. I thank you for all of your support, and we want you to continue it, and we thank you in advance for doing so. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Safe travels. I'm going to bring Juliet up, and she will officially adjourn our meeting.
Fearless leader Nancy. Before we adjourn, as a reminder, we want to invite you to other events this year, so please circle the dates on your calendar. June 22nd, we're going to have the Spirit of the League Awards Luncheon, Friday, June 22nd, so circle that date. Nancy already mentioned our Connecting on the Green Golf Tournament hosted by our guild. That's Monday, September 17th. And then finally, please, we want to see everyone at our Equal Opportunity Day dinner, and it's going to be on Saturday, November the 10th. You will hear more throughout the year. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. To our sponsors, again, thank you, Tony from Cox Media Group, as well as Felicia from Coca-Cola. We do want to have pictures with you, so please stay after I close.
And the staff, just one more round for the